Oh man.
I look over and I'm like, "Who's in chat?" Oh, it's Brown. So like, I thought safe logged in chat. Nope.
Nah, I've been waiting.
All right, I guess we can. I mean, I don't blame him. The dude's been battling death sickness for weeks.
Well, he's always dying in some way, shape, or form. So, I left him a message earlier today because there's something that happens in episode 7 of The Punisher that I know he's gonna make some snide-ass remarks to me about. So I'm just like, yo, this is just preemptive, but when you get to episode 7, go fuck yourself. And see, that's, I'm not spoiling anything for him. And if anything, I'm making him anticipate it even more. It's like, ooh, what's in episode 7? What can I give him shit about? Oh, I can't wait.
It's gonna be something.
I can give you a hint.
How bad does it spoil? Because I'll start watching Punisher tomorrow.
It does not spoil the plot at all.
All right. Well, we're live. Maybe hold off. Tell me after this.
It involves a ball gag. So that basically tells you all you need to know.
I mean, that's not a spoiler. That just sounds like a good time.
Oh. Yes, good.
Scarlet, I still need to watch Daredevil. When I finish that, I'll move on to Punisher. I don't know. Would it be out of order or Daredevil like season 2?
Daredevil season 2 is basically the prequel to the Punisher. Daredevil season 2 is the pilot for the Punisher.
Yeah, honestly. No shit. No shit.
Like, okay, the Punisher is what sold Daredevil season 2 for me, because I didn't even care about the shit with the hand until Iron Fist. And all the shit with the hand and Elektra just felt like a distraction. I wanted more Punisher. I wanted more court drama. And that one episode where he tells his backstory in the cemetery, like, legit, I almost cried because that was fucking powerful. I expected them to give him a whole episode for his backstory, like they did for Kingpin in season 1. But they did exactly what they needed to in like 3 minutes of monologue, and it was so effective.
That dude's a great actor, though. Even ever since Walking Dead.
I never got into Walking Dead just because I didn't feel like investing all the time to catch up. But hell yeah.
You catch up pretty quick, surprisingly, with Walking Dead.
Also, Scarlet, you don't need to watch The Defenders to know about the Punisher. You can go straight from Daredevil season 2 to Punisher.
Yeah, he was the best part of the 2 seasons. I mean, like, just in general, he was just a phenomenal actor.
All right, cool. Sasha is aware that things are happening now.
Okay.
Well, I just didn't want it to like be like, all right, now we're gonna have a special guest on, and then just like 30 seconds of dead air while we try to get her attention.
Right. Oh, we are taking calls tonight, so anybody listening, that.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, that should be.
So is she gonna just be a call, or do you want her to shoot the shit the whole time with us?
No, feel it out.
Okay.
Depending on how many calls we get, that's the thing. Okay. Although she could take, if she really wanted to, she could take safe spot.
That's yeah. I've been toying around with that idea. I was going to watch Daredevil 1, 2, Defenders, Punisher. Okay, yeah. There is nothing that has anything to do with the Punisher and Defenders. It honestly, if it follows up anything, it's most closely related to Daredevil season 2 and Iron Fist. Personally, hey Chili. Personally, up until this point, Luke Cage has been my favorite of the Marvel Netflix shows. But Punisher might overtake that, honestly. Iron Fist did not exactly suck. It was okay. And because everything else that Marvel had done up until now was great, an okay show sucks by comparison. It's just that the actor that they cast to play Iron Fist has like negative charisma. Yeah, exactly, Chili. Iron Fist is average. I love how well people are responding to our rebuttal to Kotaku.
Right.
Yep. When we were writing it, because Safe and I were like, okay, we need to get this shit done tonight so that it doesn't take any time away from Punisher tomorrow. uh, yeah, that's literally that was literally our process. We're just like, okay, we're going to be occupied all day tomorrow. Let's not waste any time tonight. So he was like, oh wow, I might actually need to tone this down, and I'm like, nah, dude, you need to put some more fucking venom in this. So it might legitimately be the most mean-spirited thing we've ever written, but fuck them.
It was pretty. You tore into him pretty good. I hope it. I was glad you kind of wrote that, so you got it a little bit out of your system before this. A little bit, just because. Woo.
Oh, what? We're not going to be able to read it?
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna. I don't want people to have to go burn their eye sockets out. We'll do that for them. I'll fall on that sword.
I honestly, I had such a hard time finishing that article because just
yeah, and also, I mean, I know Luna Vox over at and I'll mention this on the show, but Phoenix Down knows the player who goes by Queen Tepe,
yeah.
or whatever, and they know that person and like, please don't judge her based on like you know, to be honest, I don't think I can like. I mean, if I was, you know, approached by somebody from Kotaku that wanted to do an article about something, I would assume it would be written like, you don't know how they're gonna edit and go back and.
Well, I heard an account from the person that was interviewed from the first article from last week. They posted their transcript of the interview, and the reporter, the reporter just kind of took most of the things that they said out of context to better suit their end goal.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Of course. We'll talk about that. You know what? Hold on to that. We'll talk about that.
Well, shit. I'm gonna have to fucking find it then.
Yeah, right? What's so interesting. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute you and I'll start the show. Chili journalism. At its finest, Chili. At its finest. It's like reality TV. They'll just pick and show you what they want to show you so they get better ratings. It's all bullshit. Why you come here? We do it live. So if we fuck up and say something bad, we're fucked. All right. Muted Muhammad. Show is recorded. Make sure that. And Today is November 17th, 2017. This is episode 60 of Maelstrom Radio.
Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Flatus and Shinder.
And welcome everybody to Maelstrom Radio. My name is Flatus. With me normally would be Shin, but his computer is still being held up by customs. So I have one half of the Crucible. I have the one and only Lord Brohamit.
It's a sad day when I have journalistic integrity.
It's not great. Listen, it's funny, I had a joke intro, but it only worked if Safe was here. That's the thing, is it only worked if Safe was here.
So, if you're a loyal listener to Maelstrom Radio, you know we have a running gag where Sephiroth is dying all the time. Well, that's where he is now.
He's literally he might be actually dying. Might be actually dying. Maybe not. I hope not. But maybe not.
I still have use for him.
It's like his little soul's in a jar. He's like, he can't go yet.
No, it's like that one Meet the Medic short from TF2. He opens the fridge, the head goes, "Kill me." No, not yet.
No, not yet.
See, you say that, Vivi, but he did a couple nights ago on Discord, and it flooded the fucking chat.
Oh, yeah. I won't say who set him off, but I got a private message from the person that did set him off, and he's like, I don't know what I did. He's like, I didn't think it would go this way. I was like, you've learned a lesson. You learned not to mention Ishgard or Estinian. I was like, never mention Ishgard or Estinian around Safe. Yeah. And if you do, you have to kind of cut it off at the path and be like, I'm just fucking around, bro. It's just jokes. It's all jokes. And he's like, it better be jokes. Because we all got a 5-page thesis written in angry, nonsensical, Sephiroth argumentative tones in a Discord group chat, which was fantastic to read. Almost to the point where I think he even mentioned like what happened to the women and children of just when he threw them in the mix and everything. Like, I don't even know what happened. Like, I was like, oh god.
Genocide always gets brought up at one point.
Genocide, yeah. Genocide was surely mentioned. Can I get a I mean, if you want it, I'd have to go back and find it all, but
we can find you a transcript, Vivi, but it's not pretty.
That being said, boy, all right, we got a lot today. We got a lot. So I'm gonna jump through the news so we can just hit our main topic. So the pumpkin carving contest winners were announced, and if you didn't see the announcement or the winners, the carving category looked great. They had Pumpkin Unbound, which was Bahamut breaking out of Dalamud, which is genius. I knew somebody was going to do that.
Badass.
Yeah, it was really good. Diabolos or Diablos pumpkin, which was also really good. And then there was a Lala dressed as Edda, or a minion version of Edda with her little.
Yeah, it was the wind up Edda.
The wind up Edda, which was dress up. Yeah. The drawing category where people drew like stencils for type like pumpkins were actually really good. The Fat Chocobo was fantastic. Alphino was amazing. And then, of course, they had a Tonberry with a Aramin and whatever those damn things are from Halloween. I forget. They're, imps. One of the imps. So. Yeah, no, congratulations to the winners. You'll get a thing. I don't know what you get, but you get it. Whatever it is, you're gonna get it. So congratulations. They also showed a preview of what Rival Wings is going to be. So we kind of knew that it was going to be a MOBA-esque type PvP match. And they gave us a little more on that. So there's going to be 2 starting areas, more something like akin to a MOBA. There's going to be rules of engagement. There's going to be 2 crystal S tower things, cores, with magic tech fields emitting from the towers. So you got to strike at the core. So you got to bring down to the shield before you can hit the core itself. And there's towers along the way that do damage. And there's going to be minions, and it'll go through just like a MOBA, So it's going to be interesting when 4.15 hits on the 21st.
Don't forget the mount.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me not forget that. If you've not seen it, there is a mount related to Rival Wings, and it's a mecha gorilla that holds you in its hand.
It's so stupid. I love it.
Stupid. It's great. I was like, oh my god, I get to ride on a Mecha Winston? That's fantastic. And tell me that thing flies. Tell me when it flies, it throws you like in the air onto its back and takes off.
I am waiting for Denmo to make a King Kong parody with that.
Oh, for sure. He's gonna do it. King Kong. He makes a King Kong. I may make a Rampage one. I need a lizard mount and a wolf mount. I need a lizard mount and a wolf mount, and I'm gonna make a Rampage mount.
Well, we can get the Fenrir and probably the Omega Savage mount.
There you go. Look, make Rampage. Yeah, just like the game. We'll punch a building. We'll find a lady taking a bath. It'll be great. The feast season ends on the 21st of the release of 4.15, so season 6 starts.
Congratulations to all 7 of you that play the feast.
I tried. I just couldn't. But I want to point out this tiny little hook here. Based on player feedback, the upcoming season will be shorter, scheduled to run until the release of 4.2. So
that does sound really short.
It is, but it makes me wonder if it's because the people that do the feast get to where they are and they just stop playing and they want to get their, they don't want to lose their rank because people just slam it at the very end.
Yeah, that's what I've heard the people do, so.
Yeah, so, I mean. Whatever. I try, but I can't. Eorzean Symphony Final Fantasy XIV Orchestral Album is going to be on sale December 20th. I'm kind of stoked for this. I kind of want it. It's $70 effing. I may just wait for FanFest to pick it up just because it's $70 effing. But it does come with 2 Orchestrion rolls, Heroes and Ultima, which were not played live. I think those are 2 specific for the CD itself. So that you're also gonna get the Orchestrion rolls for those, I believe, if I read that right. I may be wrong, but just go to the store. You can see. I think you can pre-order it. The first run is going to have a digipack, and then after that it'll be no minion, no buy. No, there's no minion, but
it's got the roll.
It's got the Orchestrion rolls, and it's got a special packaging, which is the digipack. And after they run out of those, you're only going to be able to get a plastic case. I almost want just to get it for the special digipack because it is a really nice artwork. And then duty commenced November 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. They're going to go and do Rival Wings. I'm not sure what server or where they're going to be at and what they're going to start running. I hope it's kind of on Primal so I can get in there and MOBA it up with the, community team, hopefully. They're also going to be giving away DX Racer chairs again. So I'm going to try to win one of those. I will never win because they had 1,400 people in there trying to slam to get, when they're not giving away DX Racer chairs, there's yo, we got 100 people in this chat room. We're giving away Taito figures. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're giving away a DX Racer chair. They're like, people are in there like, I love Final Fantasy. I'm like, I've never, who the fuck are you? You're like some dude that's like, I love World of Warcraft in his name. I was like, Me thinks you just need a chair.
I need a chair. Mine broke this week.
Oh, God. Hey, you got a job, though. I mean,
Yep.
Get a chair. So let's see, and then that's pretty much it for the news. Let's check out chat real quick. Let's see. Mecha Winston says Vivi. Yes. Let's see. I'll find it. Put it on Discord. Scarlet.
He did.
Yeah. All right. Cool. No minion. No buy from Chili. I'll buy. The music's too good not to have. Of course, it is. And cool. I also got a letter to read later. From our friend. Okay, so yes. All right, so I can. Subaku wrote a letter I will be reading later. That's in a positive light with everything that's been going on with Kotaku. Speaking of Kotaku, this is one of the reasons why I invited the Crucible on. Well, both of them. As far as I know, Sephiroth is currently still or in a cocoon. I'm assuming he's in a cocoon. he's gonna
with how much shit that he hacks up out of his lungs,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he can cocoon himself in it.
Do you think he'd be a butterfly or a moth? I think a moth.
Me too.
All right. Like, would he be one of those like cute fuzzy moths, or would he be like one of those really ugly ones with a skull on its back?
He'd look like something out of a fucking horror movie, and he'd drag people into the sky and drop them to their deaths. I know he'd have it no other way.
Just flying around.
Oh, you like Ishgard? Time to die.
Yeah. Ugh. He just gets out of the cocoon, and he's just
get in touch with your wizard.
And it just kills people.
Actually, if he were in a cocoon and what came out of it, I feel like he would be more akin to Shinryu, a being born of pure hatred.
Oh. So would it be more along the lines of this then?
Put it in your mouth.
Would that be more along the lines? Yeah.
Sasha says he'd be the kind of mouth who hits you in the face in the dark at night and it scares the shit out of you.
Vivi, we talked about that last week, the /doze. So if you missed that episode, Vivi, it is on our feed. Our feed kind of we had to blow up the feed again because it didn't work. It didn't work again. Shasasaurus. He'd be the kind of moth who hits you in the face in the dark at night and then scares the shit.
I just read that.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention because listen, I remember I usually have Shin here and Shin does all like the background stuff while I'm talking. And then Shin puts stuff in the notes and I don't have Shin.
You haven't had Shin for a while, so that doesn't fly anymore.
I know, and I miss him so much. It's funny, like we looked at our past episodes. Sorry, I know we got to jump into this article, but real quick, we were looking at our numbers, and the day he returned, we had such a big spike in episode views. I was like, what exactly does that say about me and the Crucible? And then the guests I bring on this that when he's
B-team.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, the B team's back, but then they're like, oh, Shin's back. Everybody comes and listens. Oh, but we'll get into like what you guys can do to help us out later, by the way. So let's jump into the Kotaku art. And I will do a speed reading of this. We'll stop where we need to be. If you need to jump in and tell me or make a comment, let me know. So the title of this article is Inside the Brothels of Final Fantasy XIV or Final Fantasy 14. Yet again, I'm not attacking the player that was contacted for this. We know for a fact, more than likely, that I won't say for a fact. I'm gonna say my best guess is that Kotaku took everything that they were talking about out of context for this. So The Madam Queen Teppy met near a bustling harbor in Final Fantasy XIV. Will you be coming to the mansion, she asked me. I'd appreciate an escort, I responded moments later. I'd meet 5 of them. Teppy runs a seaside brothel on Final Fantasy XIV server, Hyperion. Now, I want to point out, this is Hyperion server, not Balmung, but... Yet. These 18 plus love dens, oh god.
Love den.
Oh, I never wanted to throw up more in my life. Exists on a raunchy roleplay server, Balmung. See, I love how Hyperion, then all of a sudden Balmung was thrown in the mix for whatever reason. Raunchy roleplay server, Balmung. I love that they described Balmung as a raunchy roleplay server. I will have words on that later, and I don't even plan Balmung. And the populist server, Leviathan, as well. In them, players offer erotic roleplay in exchange for lofty fees. In private rooms, catgirls sprawl out on beds with elves, humans, blue-skinned giants, and the blue-skinned giants. They called Rogan and blue-skinned giants. And other fantastical races playing out fantasies ranging from lighter bondage fare to all things tentacles.
Okay.
I am going to name this episode All Things Tentacles. I'm telling you right now, the name of this episode is All Things Tentacles. Anything is possible in text. I'm sorry, hey chat, if you don't listen, unless I find something better, All Things Tentacles is the name of episode 60. I'm sorry, episode 69, you were so close. You could have had it. Anything is possible in text chat, and what can't be conveyed in words is conveyed through emotes like /hug/doe. Like these underlined does
because it links to the other.
Fucking, oh, you dirty people. Teppy and I rode to her brothel. Teppy's treasures is on the back of a feathered white bird, dressed in sunglasses and red and black patched military-style jacket. Teppy looks more like a part of a general than a madam. And on our way, she told me that the idea to run a literal cat house in the game started as a joke, a sort of what-if scenario if she laughingly made manifest 3 years ago. Teppy's old guild accommodated the best it could, charging a meager 15,000 gil for intimate play. The front quickly attracted a serious following. As time passed, Teppy realized she had to take it seriously. Diligently, Teppy began researching erotic roleplay, ERP, in parentheses, fetishes, and brothel running protocols. I now know that there's
a guidebook somewhere on how you properly run a brothel. Is there just like a pamphlet on how to properly disinfect the beds and the sheets afterwards?
Yeah, somebody in chat, can you please find me the processes and procedure manual from brothels? I need to know the processes and procedures behind brothels, please.
We just like a little bit of information for next FanFest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna run one. In quotes, I never half-ass anything, she said. Teppy led me into the mansion, and as soon as the doors opened, five courtesans perched on a table slowly revealed themselves, each wearing uniforms matching Teppy's. How may we help you? One said. The brothel was in service. In that 2-hour window, Teppy explained people can come in with scarcely a waiting period to visit whichever of Teppy's 40 courtesans were online. 40. If you're running a brothel and you have 40 people working under you, you're doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'll admit that's an impressive staff.
It's not bad.
They see a lot of staffs.
Yeah. Oh boy, the jokes are good. All right, client staying for 30 minutes would have to pay 100,000. Maybe you and I are in the wrong business. Hold on a second. If anything, this is just giving us ideas. All right, like for 100,000. All right, up front, downstairs, dozens of private rooms designed by those same courtesans in the style of a wooded hot tub enclave or a luxury hotel room were available for intimate affairs. Dorothy Hayes, a courtesan who dutifully followed us on our tour of the mansion, had only 2 weeks working for Teppy under her belt, but she said she made 4.4 million gil in clients. I can't make 1 million gil on Fanfrit. I can't do maps to make. So I just want to point that out. Granted, that's. Wait a minute. They also say, granted, that's only $12 if purchased from a gil farming site.
I want to know how they found that and what site they found that from.
Interesting. I am also curious. Not because I'm gonna buy Gil, but interesting that they needed to look that up. Scarlet in chat, how to run online ERP brothel for dummies.
I wonder what the value of the Gil is compared to the WoW Gold.
WoW Gold's worth actual it's worth more than
I know the Venezuelan. I've heard.
Yeah. Let's see. But a large in-game sum by many players standard. Players who aren't, that's not actually not a lot, but sure.
4.4 mil? It can be.
I mean, it depends on your server and your economy on that server. But yeah, all right. Players who aren't available to actively ERP will undress their avatar. Undress their avatars and program them to dance on the program. Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
That it's a whole new world out there. These kids are talking in terms we don't understand. They're in front of their video boards.
They're in front of their video boards programming their characters.
So doing an emote, a persistent emote, and then going AFK counts as programming? Holy shit, I've been looking for the wrong job, Flatus.
Yeah, I know. We're all programmers. Hey, Kane, that link is way too long in chat. You might want to throw it through Bitly or something like that.
Don't link the Kotaku article, Vivi. Don't give them more views.
Yeah, don't.
That's why we're reading this for you.
Yeah, we're reading it for you. All right, if you actually want to follow along or read it for yourself, that's fine. But you don't have to. Don't give them clicks. Listen, if you're gonna give them clicks, use an ad blocker. Don't give them money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them all the clicks with an ad blocker.
Yeah. We don't. All right, let's keep going. So players who aren't available to actively ERP will undress their avatars and program them to dance on stage for a couple of hours while they're away from their computers, receiving as much as 10,000 gil an hour for it. You mean I can leave my character in game just AFK and just make 10 kg gil?
Well, you play a male Aura, so I don't think you'd make that much.
No, I have to change to female because of Extra Life.
Ah, okay.
So I can make that. I mean, I haven't done it yet, but I need to do it on stream. And anyway, the money these courtesans make, many told me, goes right back into the decorating the rooms or is transformed into gifts like weapons or clothes for their online friends. Tepe is upfront about what she does with her cut of the take. I spend it all on my girls. Of course. I asked 2 of the courtesans on other servers to show me how a for money ERP session would typically begin. Here's what they wrote. He would slowly turn his gaze toward Vel, a soft smile.
No. You gotta let me.
Oh,
let me do.
Oh no, go ahead. I thought you take Miss K, I take Mr. M.
No, I'll take Mr. M because you gotta put some emphasis and passion into it. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He would slowly turn his gaze toward Vel, a soft smile forming across his lips. His arm nearest her would slowly rise up to run his palm along the center of her back as he eased in closer to place a small kiss upon her cheek.
There you go.
There you go.
Let me take a sip of coffee and let me get Miss K out of the way. Hold on. Her ears fold back gently as she tries to hide the blush forming on her cheeks. Tail swinging slowly behind her as she leans her head into him. A small smirk growing on her glossed lips. Despite every you got a little bit of ASMR in there as well. Despite appearances, FFXIV courtesans don't turn tricks on wordplay. Oh, turn tricks on wordplay. Oh, God. All right. Never had I met an avatar as expressive as Tepe. Her mastery of the game's emote system was clear. There was no noticeable pauses between her avatar's brash, confident riding and motions of struts like a songbird. Beam with delight. Or does the ranger red pose?
Okay. I need to stop here. She doesn't know that emotes are linked to the chat log. Of course there's no, delay, because it shows that you did the fucking emote.
It's good stuff.
Oh my
Moment to moment, her avatar felt more like a live action anime character as opposed to anything that had ever gone on a quest or leveled up.
Oh,
Now,
the cat girl's anime, guys.
hold on a second. If you retract the live action anime character, that's actually, I would say, almost a benefit to Final Fantasy. Like, if it wasn't in this article and you took out the live action anime part, I would almost say that's a good thing about something you could say well about Final Fantasy 14, that their emote system and the animation of the characters are so well done. But no, it's in this bullshit article. So let's keep going. I was awed by the lengths to which these online courtesans had gone to create the illusion, or this illusion. My only lingering question was who does this? When I asked around the courtesans, I don't even know, Jobia? Boy. So they were going for horse, right? They couldn't. All right. Said he got into the money ERP through his IRL partner for 10 years. Jorce's partner, he told me, plays a female courtesan that is married to the female Mikote over there. She said, gesturing to a player portraying one of the game's cat-like race of avatars. We've always maintained that in-game is not IRL, she said.
It's not cheating if it's digital.
Yeah. Off air, different story, off air. George says the ERP gives him a chance to shed inhibitions he has had, make a few friends along the way. Miss K told me that she's actually trained as an IRL dominatrix and has picked up a few extra bucks flogging and spanking people after her day job. I'm sorry, Safe, I wish you were awake for this. I really do, buddy. I really do. Oh, bud. Since she already has an outlet for her sexual... Wait. Is he coming?
Kane says, how are they typing this one-handed?
How are they? Oh, I don't... Listen. Let's not. Let's not. Since she already has an outlet for her sexuality, she says her sex work in Final Fantasy XIV provides her an outlet for her writing. Brohamet.
Yes.
Now, question for you.
Yes.
Since I'm assuming you have an outlet for your sexuality, is Final Fantasy, your sex work in Final Fantasy 14 your outlet for your writing?
Considering that I run the Crucible, yes, it is.
All right, so we're in line so far, everybody. So we're in line. Just want to point that. Technically, yeah. we'll expand. On the Leviathan server, a blonde madam in a red coat with tails by the name of Mistress led me on a tour of her brothel's library, showroom, and private chambers. The mansion had a burgundy hue. It smelled of rich mahogany. No, it didn't. I'm sorry. Embellished with golden furs. I really wish it smelled of rich mahogany. It was in most rooms, sparkling cakes and treats were laid out. She referred to her courtesans as the entertainment. Up front, John's approach, Mr. You know what I have not read yet? That none of these were like an old timey like Wild West like tavern with. But something to think about, somebody out there. If you want to make money, maybe go the old West route. Bustiers, I'm telling you, you can have like card games. Up front, John's approach, call girls and boys with specific requests and fetishes. The madam accommodates, matching the customers' courtesans who might share their interests. The brothel is the flip side of the Leviathan server's mafia. Hold on a tick.
Why don't we have an article about the Leviathan's mafia?
Where's the Leviathan mafia? I want that article. A group of players who roleplay gangsters. Behind the basement stage, there's a dancing cat girl in a black bikini churned through her routine. Was the mafia's sweatshop. God, I'd rather hear. Sabaku just sent me a message. Sabaku, I agree, and I agree. I don't want to. I almost say don't. I don't want to say it just in case it does happen because that's a great idea. Let's see. The sweatshop. Their players crafted bootleg items that because it's a game actually crafted bootleg items that because it's a game actually work. When I was introduced to the brothel's godfather, he sat alone in an oxblood-colored room, contemplating a fire. Now, bro, real quick, imagine you walk into a room, there's a player sitting by a fire, right? And he's just sitting in like a red room in a suit, just sitting by a fire, and that's all he's doing.
I would think that asshole's AFK.
I think it's the same, right? Like, same. I was like, this motherfucker never leaves. I asked whether I could talk to him about sex in the industry in Final Fantasy XIV, and all he said was, "We just provide entertainment."
He sounds so up his own ass.
Oh my god. The courtesans don't disclose the real life genders even when we ask. If you're a guy playing a female character, no, they shouldn't. If you're a guy playing a female character, that's your character. It shouldn't matter if to the client what your actual gender is. Mistress explained, that's our main rule. Mistress, who said she is a stay-at-home mom with a 14-month-old, said she had no reservations about starting the brothel and spend her days kicking back with a glass of wine, enjoying her empire. Me either. But with the Maelstrom Radio empire, I have no problem kicking back with a glass of wine and enjoying my empire. My empire only reaches about, so many of you. But I get drunk. Anyway, sex workers on Final Fantasy XIV tend to be open about what's off the table for them. It isn't much. Often it's dismemberment, mutilation, necrophilia, and what's referred to as age play. I want to point out, or sex between avatars of widely different ages. Fair. I didn't notice. I guess mutilation would include vor. They didn't specifically say vor, but
So they wouldn't do most things that actual sex workers wouldn't do. It's like, oh baby, let me rip off your arm and beat off with it.
Yeah, I mean most. Just use Robon's arm. It's already off.
A pre-severed arm.
Yeah, pre-severed. Different.
If you can't sever your own arm, store-bought is just fine.
Oh no, we're not forecast. No, we're not. We're not forecast. That's episode 1 of Crucible's podcast. And Safe will be just punching his computer. That's not to say that it doesn't happen. Miss K said that once when somebody asked for an age play session, I looked at the screen, I smirked, and I played straight through it. Oh, okay. I learned something today. We're almost done. At the end of my tour, Tepe's Treasures of Hyperion, Tepe confided that she had never had an interest in ERP before she started the brothel. I used to think that was just smut for losers who can't get a real girl. Like most people, she said, now she said she gets it. It's not about getting off, at least not entirely. It's an expert mode challenge, not entirely unlike finishing a high-level raid. Though, in this case, I can't believe I'm about to read this, it's solving a writing puzzle that the game empowers even if it doesn't explicitly endorse. So, just so you all know, ERP is being compared to, what, Unending Coil of Bahamut?
The best response I have heard to this comes from Kontos. I love you, Kontos, who says, ERPing is not a raid, you fuck mothering shit gibbons.
You're right. That's about right. So, half the times a client comes in here, I have no sexual interest in their fetishes, she said. I do it anyways. I learn their fetishes, figure out what makes them tick. I try to write it so well that nobody would even know it wasn't my fetish. And that's it. That's the end of the article. Now,
I tried to read this article before.
You couldn't.
I tapped out. I could not make it through it.
It was hard. It's hard.
It was very hard.
Now, do I know for a fact that the author, the writer, the senior reporter at Kotaku took this out of context? Probably. I mean, based on notes from the last one, absolutely. I mean, do I roleplay? No. I mean, have I made a roleplay character? Sure. Am I trying to learn what that's about? Sure. Did I pick the hardest character? Like, I picked an NPC to roleplay as, which is Xenos, and I probably picked the hardest thing to roleplay as, according to many of the people that I know that do roleplay. which is a lot of people in chat, and then Brohamit, and then the Crucible, and everybody I've met through the Crucible. I mean, is this wrong? No. Is what the players are doing wrong? No. This is how they have fun in their game. This is how they're
But this isn't exemplary of the entire community.
Things I want to point out that I didn't like was let's see. On the raunchy roleplay server Balmung, I don't play on Balmung. I don't have a character in Balmung. My friends have characters in Balmung. I've listened to my friends roleplay. I've been in chat with them. I've been in Discord with them. Do raunchy things happen? Sure. But
anyone that is on Balmung knows about the quicksand.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. If you're on Balmung, you don't want to go to the quicksand without a gallon of disinfectant. Sure.
But is it a raunchy roleplay server? No, it's a roleplay server. It's not even an official roleplay server, but it is the non-official roleplay server. That's fine. Like, people should, like, when you start adding these taglines, people are going to see this and be like, yo, all right, so Balmung is the place where everybody's just banging. Like, and somebody that doesn't play Final Fantasy 14 and reads this, they're going to be like, oh, Balmung's the place where people just ERP all the time. And then when people say, hey, what server you're from? Oh, you're like that, like, it becomes a stigma. And that's not cool. Yeah, it is. You're right. It is. And you know what? And I've said it before, and I've apologized, I think, to almost everybody on that server. Like, I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. I was so unaware. And I did know, like, I was like, oh shit, I don't know what goes down on Like, we still joke about it because it's a joke. But it's like, it's a joke now, like when it's with friends, but it's not a joke when like Shin and I didn't know. We're like, that's where all the fucking crazy shit goes down. But you know, when I have to apologize because like I honestly didn't know, and when I start realizing that RP is important to people, and it's because they have anxiety on a level of like meeting people in real life is really hard, but this is how I cope with it. It opened up my mind in what everybody does on these servers to a degree. And when do I find anything wrong with Queen Teppy and her erotic den of courtesans? No. And do I think anybody on the other servers running these types of things wrong? No. Do I find how Kotaku is delivering this information wrong? Absolutely. This is clickbait. They know Final Fantasy 14 is popular currently, at least in the form of news and with the players. But the sentiment surrounding this from the community has not been good. Like, from us, the players, even the players that don't RP, even know, like, what the fuck is Kotaku thinking? And I mean, I haven't read a good Kotaku article since, I don't know, Halo 3, and that's barely giving them some credit. When the fuck did Halo 3 come out? Like, I mean, like, they used to be a somewhat legitimate news, like, somewhat. And I'm not even trying to give them like the bare minimum, like this somewhat legitimate news source, but they haven't been that. They've been terrible. Like, you don't want to know what a good news source is for Final Fantasy 14? We read an article last week written by Chili that had a great information for us, and that was an honest article. Like, we found out from Chili. If it wasn't for Chili, we wouldn't have known that 4.2, when that drops and we get Eureka, guess what? We're getting relic armor. That wasn't known before. Like, it was just a maybe, and now we have a confirmed from, like, based from Chili's questions that we are getting relic armor. And that, to me, is far more important than whatever the hell this lady's trying to throw at us. So, fuck Kotaku.
I said this during pre-show, but Kotaku is doing legitimately, in real life, what the Crucible parodies.
Yeah.
They are proving us right. They are validating us.
Yeah, honestly, you want stop reading Kotaku, go read the Crucible. You'll get the same information, and guess what? It'll be funnier. It'll be better written. I love how the Crucible just go, here's the link to our... and you know, you should read the rebuttal. You absolutely should read the rebuttal because it's fantastic. So listen, we're gonna take calls. Like I said, we were gonna take calls. I saw Sasha in there. She left. I don't know why. But Sasha, if you're still listening, if you're still around, we do want to talk to you. I know you had something to say. If you do have anything to say about the article, or if you have something positive to say about role-playing, or if you play on a role-playing community.
Or tell us your best ERP stories.
Yeah, we'll take that too. We'll take that too. But I mean, I've had Remix on here talking when we did the show about MMO toxicity, saying like how much shit the RP community gets, and I've gone on record that the RP community is one of the only communities that keeps this game alive, because guess what? When we have no content, guess who still has content? They do.
So I have been unemployed for the past 2 to 3 months, and it's been rough. You know, unemployment's never really that fun. But in this time, I've been able to really dive deeper into RP in a way that I hadn't been able to in a while. And it's honestly the biggest thing that helped me stay sane during this time.
I listen, I would have never made an RP character, but I was like, fuck it, I'll make Xenos. Let's see what's going down. And I did. I legit haven't touched it, but but I should really like sit down and try to figure that shit out, like, because it's maybe I am missing something. Like I'm like, and I say this from a person who's uneducated about it. Like I'm the person missing something. Like I'm the one at the fault and with judgments, and I shouldn't have been that way on any time. Like even when I played World of Warcraft, I was like fucking Moonguard. I know what goes down on Moonguard. That section, like, and don't get me wrong, I know what goes down at the fucking like what goes down at the quicksand happens at the Goldshire and on Moonguard. But does that mean that is that the only thing that happens there? No, absolutely not. And I know that for a fact. I have friends that play on that server. They're like, no, dude, we do the same thing everybody else does. Like, so the link's in chat to join Discord. If you want to join Discord and talk to us about what your thoughts on this, go ahead. I have a letter to read. So I'm going to read the letter, but if you do, we'll stop the letter. We'll bring you in. We'll chat.
I know Sasha wants on.
I know, but she left the. I can't.
I'm trying to rope her back in.
Yeah, rope her. I mean,
she'd like that.
No. I'd call in to read my rant earlier, but I literally can't project a voice. Contact us if you want to send me, like, if you want to DM me your rant, I'll read it. So.
Is it the one from Discord? Because I can read it.
Oh, that too, yeah. All right, so let me start reading this. And just to confirm with person in chat, because I know you're in chat, just I since this is the nice one, I'm going to say this is a little bit of a long letter, but that's fine. So I can get people in here. Hi. This is Wanderer Sabaku. As a disclaimer, this is me speaking personally and not an official statement coming from A Stage Reborn. Make sure that I'm still good with this. All right. This is my opinion and my opinion alone. When I founded A Stage Reborn, I was not into role-playing. I wasn't looking for it, wasn't looking to do it. I was focusing specifically on using the creative medium of the game Final Fantasy XIV for the arts. With how many art programs get cut with it, many lacking the ability of courage to go out and do some actual performing in public, I thought video games would be one of the best mediums for making it more accessible more accessible for folks to tap into their artistic creativity. They could do it from the comfort of their own homes, behind a screen where things like typecasting and limitations don't exist in the flesh. I did it for a charitable cause. I continue doing it because it has becoming a strong link into the visual and performing arts world. I'm sorry. I did it for a charitable cause. Do it. Yeah. So I'm still following. And this is on Notepad. So if I'm reading this terribly, it's on Notepad. So I'm trying my best. Notepad is Sabak, you did great. It's me. I hate reading on Notepad. This is me thing. I probably should have put this in, but that's fine. Our performing opportunities use real professionals to put on the highly organized scripted productions that have captured the attention of hundreds, thousands. And it's not role-playing. So here's something interesting. I role-play on Balmont. I used to roleplay on games like Phantasy Star Online. Final Fantasy XI, and the occasional online forum here and there growing up. It was a way to keep my inner artist engaged in the creative writing process. Character development, plot writing, and one of the most interactive and successful way of presenting writing prompts. Role-playing quickly became a staple of creative development in my life. I set the mantle down for a while because I was so busy focusing on other things, but I recently got back into it because I remembered how powerful of a writing creation tool it was for me. After all, role-playing is how I got into the theater. And theater is how I got into law, and those combined are what gave me the knowledge, creativity, and ability to create a stage reborn. You won't find me visiting the brothels of Aor's or frequently abusing emotes for intimate indulgences, because, surprise, that's not what those emotes were intended for. And that's far from the reason I roleplay. I'm not going to say these things. You almost broke me, bro. You almost broke me with your little giggle. You almost broke me. I am not going to say these things don't exist in game. In fact, they're easy to find, and if you just look for it. However, some people can't but be predisposed to a belief that all role players are these raunchy people looking for cybersex. And on the Final Fantasy XIV, there's more and more people who act like or speak like Balmung as an entirety is just an ERP cesspool. I was guilty of that. I admit I was guilty. I did admit that I was fucking wrong. I was an asshole. Sorry. Some journalists have even taken to writing sensational articles painting community as some underground ERP sex trade community. It's not explicitly written, but look through the comments in the community, the feedback. This is the image that is being pushed on role players. Instead of being recognized as a niche part of the community or niche part of the community that exists, I'm finding that myself and others have to defend ourselves. And when we label ourselves role players, the ongoing Balmung jokes are starting to be taken too literally, and the articles shining a negative light on the RP community at large do neither of us nor the game itself any justice. Or coffee for my voice. So why do I roleplay? Why do content creators collaborate? Why do people write fiction? Why do design characters go on making art portfolios surrounding them and their theme? I think the easier question would be, why shouldn't I roleplay? And right now, the only answer I can think of is because the way the RP community is being portrayed puts me at risk. I was a bit timid in writing this letter because I represent a nonprofit, a stage reborn. When I say what I do, often is reflected upon my entire organization. So to label myself as something that right now is getting a lot of negative attention is a risk. Why is being creative a risk? Our latest activity involved role-playing on Balmung. We created a Japanese-style eatery. Izakaya? I'm going to say it's Izakaya until someone corrects me. That's meant for open RP on Balmung. The small slice of life and tavern interactions that catch our eye from painstakingly crafted experts, in turn are rewarded with invites to a film day. We reward quality creativity derived from role-playing with the opportunity to become a part of a voiceover production, Midnight Diner, Shirogane Stories. And yes, a stage reborn role players are a part of this project's development, not because we have to, but because we want to. We wanted that creativity. We want to give Balmung the option to immortalize their creativity and characters using the tools we have at our disposal. But instead, I find myself worrying that about telling people that I roleplay or that a stage reborn was established a role-playing activity on Balmung. Because of late, we're apparently joined by the raunchy role-playing server Balmung. I trust and believe in my community and our community, but knowing that there's someone who's done us an honor of putting a spotlight on our project is now turning around and poisoning the same well we drink from. It's disheartening, especially considering Cecilia covered a stage reborn for I Want to Be Your Canary, and was told things like how we use things like /doze before /play dead existed to feign deaths on stage. Even when people mistakenly assume a stage reborn is role-playing, the reception is still positive. I have to wonder what makes people less likely to extend that kind of acceptance to role-playing community, because that rift is what makes me hesitant to tell people that I'm a role-player. So, Sabaku, thank you for writing that.
I also found Kontos's letter.
This is going to be a very stark difference from what we just read.
Yes, it will.
Let's read Kontos's and then we'll jump back to talking about what Sabaku wrote.
So I just want to say before I get very fitting that you read the nice, very carefully worded, elegant letter,
Yes.
and I'm gonna read this. Dear Kotaku, if you think ERPing is some new and formerly undiscovered kink that has only appeared, I would like to invite you back to the start of when the internet was entering the homes and Yahoo chat rooms dominated. I was there. I saw countless paragraphs of ERP in such detail that your collective writing team can only have a sad wank in despair at how lax your vocabularies are. Putting a picture to them only enhances what's existed for decades in the most common form of porn known to mankind. The VHS tape with the masking tape on the end of it marking it as Jim and Jody's 10th wedding anniversary. The fact that you attempt to paint everyone that roleplays as a sex-crazed fiends shows how little you actually understand about all MMO roleplay communities. Yes, ERP exists. It's not uncommon knowledge. Google up World of Warcraft ERP and you'll find post and link bonanzas to the Moonguard US. But on that same realm, you'll find a huge volume of people that want nothing to do with eroticism. That they're there to enhance the experience WoW gives them with their own stories and player-driven fun. But thanks to garbage like Kotaku, it's given the trolls that point out that Goldshire exists a more open voice, all in the name of ad revenue. And let's be clear, that's all this is. Shit on a community so people will click the link and you get money to keep propagating more and more uninformed garbage. To wrap it up, let me simply say, go out into the RP community in general. Not the brothels, not the most infamous part of WoW, not the forums that specifically troll role players, but the role players themselves. I can't even begin to count the number of guilds and free companies in FF14 and WoW alone dedicated to their own stories that you could have explored. Instead, you went right for the filthiest, raunchiest part you could find in your attempt to crap on everyone tangentially involved, all for the sake of mighty Joe Dollar. Fuck you and your hack journalism. Mr. Kontos, proud role player for 15 years.
There it goes. Very, very two different letters. One more focused on its Kotaku. Kontos, thank you for writing that.
Yep.
I want to read some things. I'm not going to name names, but I want to read because I did ask earlier on the server, and I'm just going to. One of our friends. RP is a great creative tool. It's a good way of collaborating something amazing and with putting a story, a character you worked hard on, and getting to see other people's stories and creations in turn. It's also a great way to build friendships and make playing the game itself more rewarding.
I have something on that point.
Okay.
With RP, you can build some seriously strong actual relationships. Like I know several people who their roleplay spouse, they're either in a relationship with them or married to them in real life. Sometimes, they make the characters as part of a pair, they're already together, but I've seen it multiple times where two characters start interacting, the players get to know each other out of character, and then something blooms between them. Like I did not know Safe until about 2.5 years ago. Well, okay, I transferred to Balmung in about 2.5. And that's when I actually started role playing with Safe for the first time. The Crucible did not exist until last October, but our main characters had been in a relationship and married up until that point. And it just so happened that we have a great chemistry together. We have the same sense of humor, and we vibe together so well on a way that I haven't really with more than two other people in my entire life. Like, almost every session that we roleplay now, there's a thing that'll happen where him and I express the same thought or the same sentiment using different words. We don't even plan it out, but we essentially say the same thing with different words. no matter which pairs of characters we're playing. It used to just be limited to either the married couple or the twins, but our thought processes have become so similar and intertwined, it leaks out.
Having witnessed these two interact, I didn't know about, like, you know, your story prior to the Crucible. Like, I just knew you were two friends that did the Crucible, and that's how I met you guys. So it is interesting to hear. I can't say, like, Shin and I aren't like how Shin and I met isn't anywhere near that. Like, we didn't role play. We met because I did a different podcast. I was doing an EverQuest Next podcast, and he ran he was the behind the scenes of like a gamer escape type website that they were building for EverQuest Next, and that's how we knew each other. But to be fair, Shin and I do RP in other ways. Like, we play D&D, and like that's how we RP. Shin's a bard. Like, that's what Shin is when he plays those types of games. And Shin's fantastic at taking music and rewriting it and making, like, very easily. And that's what he's good at, and quippy. And so he plays a bard. Like, that's why his first character in Final Fantasy XIV was bard, for that reason. So there is a layer of, and I will say this, like, if you play Dungeons and Dragons and you RP that way, and that's your jam, or Pathfinder or whatever have you,
Tabletop, yeah.
If you tabletop RP and you don't RP in games because you think it's dumb, guess what? It's the same thing. That's just like Final Fantasy. Like, that's like fantasy football players, like, not realizing they're playing D&D, but football players. That's exactly. I'm just saying that's what that is. Like, it's like, I'm just being honest. Like, I know there's like some differences, but you know, it's called fantasy football. You're fucking just swap out wizards for guys in helmets. You know. So to jump back to Zabaku's letter, I do want to point out that he makes some really good points. It's like there is a risk. There is, like, if you do something like a Stage Reborn, there is a risk now saying, like, hey, I'm also on Balmung. Like, oh, I know what Balmung. Like I said before, there is a stigma being attached to role players of this community. It's /does / the like any other the other emotes. How there's brothels. It's so far. It's always from the last two articles. There was supposed to be a third article, from my understanding. I don't know if it got released or not.
I sure as fuck hope not.
There was supposed to be a continuation or another article in this series of bullshit articles. I mean, if there is, guess what next week is about? Just giving you a heads up. But I don't know, it's bad. It's all bad. Let's see, no, Sasha did not come back. So Chili. Oh, that sucks. Chili, did you want to come on and tell your ERP story? Did you want me to read what you sent me the other day? It's cool if you don't.
I have an ERP story.
I'm sure you do. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is it? 10 being like,
it's actually a funny story.
All right.
So, because of the stigma, I had actually, steered away from ERP for a long time. And it wasn't actually until I made friends with Sasha that I kind of came around to it. Because there was one night, our two characters, we affectionately refer to them as Team White Girls, they went out for a night drinking. And this night ended at a whorehouse. We don't know how we found our way there. We just found our way to a whorehouse, picked up 3 dancers, 2 dancers and 1 masseuse. And eventually, these 2 wasted bitches, they decided that they didn't care about the strippers. They wanted each other. And my character is a lightweight and passed out.
That was pretty. Actually, I know. I remember hearing that story. I was like, I think I know the story. I was like, okay, then it's not that bad. All right. That being said, I did write "oh saucy" twice in chat. Anyway, so I don't think we're gonna get calls. That's fine. You don't have to call. you know, you can call next week.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to Splash.
I was a little bit like, I was kind of looking forward to Splash Mountain, and I'm not talking about the ride. It's a story. It's pretty funny.
It's one of the best ERP stories ever.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have some final thoughts on all this crap.
Sure.
I mean, or thoughts. Let's chat. Got anything else to add to this? Please let me know. But
well, Chili's on his phone. Kontos doesn't have a voice. Sasha had to bounce.
I know it's what happened. Say my ERP stuff. Wait a minute. Did you put it in chat, Chili?
Safe's dead.
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, wait, hold on. Safe's. Oh yeah, Safe's. I don't know. Safe's down. Chili, I met someone on Twitch. She was on Ultros. We flirted. Then a friend, also female, flirted with her. Both Makoti. Then we started to ERP. Then an Ara turned up when we ended up in the shower for a few hours. Oh yeah, he sent that to me in the DM the other day, and I was like, "How does that? How do you go from Twitch into the game?" I was like, "That's an interesting." That never happens to me. Let me tell you the things that ever happened to me in gaming. I log in, I do stuff, I get yelled at, I log out. It's pretty much my my line of things that happen. Listen, I've said it before. Shin and I may not be the best or top tier players of this game. We're probably the worst. We're really good raiders. That's what we're like. We're old school raiders, so like we're decent at that. We can kind of follow things, but I don't know. Anyway, my final thoughts on all this. I'll let you go first. Do you have any final thoughts on Kotaku or even then? Like, I mean, I'm giving you a platform to defend RP at least.
I have been role playing since before I even started Final Fantasy XIV. I actually bought the game because a bunch of old role-playing friends from basically Tumblr RP. I bought FF14 because a bunch of old friends from that group were buying that game too, and I was like, oh hey, it can be like old times, you know, we could all play together again. And, you know, unfortunately that fell apart, but I have made so many more relationships. And hell, the Crucible exists. I've made friends with you and other content creators, and my life has been drastically changed by the fact that I am a role player. It is a legitimate form of storytelling and expression, in my opinion. And if you just want a virtual fuck doll, like, fine, that's your business. As long as you're not that one person on Balmung that plays a 13-year-old and dresses in panties in the quicksand, go for it. If you want to, yeah, that's an actual person. You know, if you're the person who's also in the quicksand with the Miikote Fuda horsecock that's into breeding, fine. I'm not making Balmung seem like the best kind of place, but you know what? Stay away from the quicksand. So Balmung has those people.
All right.
But then Balmung has a bunch of other people that I've met. You know, I could go on all night about, you know, characters I've met and the stories that they tell. And it's so great to see the stories that people come up with and the way that they invest themselves in this world, in this game, in this characters. I know that I would not care nearly as much about the lore of this game if I weren't putting myself in it. So roleplay has made me appreciate FF14 so much more than I ever would have before. And yeah.
It's pretty cool, man. Like I do have to give you credit because you and Safe do a lot of like you don't know. Like I know because I'm on the server and I talk to them and I know how much work goes behind the scenes of creating the Crucible, and it's such a passion. Like it takes less work for us to do Maelstrom Radio. Like there is like audio editing and us getting stuff on servers, and like when we have to nuke the feed because our show's not hitting the feed, like we have like Shin and I do that. but it's not as like them having to sit down and think of jokes and thinking how to like setting up photo shoots to do, like it's amazing how much work they do to put into the Crucible.
I've said this on Phoenix Down, but I just want to reiterate, probably my favorite thing about the Crucible is that it's technically a role play project. You know, all the articles are written in character, canon to the universe. They're lore abiding. And yes, we do technically play all of the writers on staff. So like every article is signed by an in-character writer at the bottom. Each writer has a certain style, things that they prefer. But even though it is a role play project, it's not exclusive to role players. As long as you care or know about the lore of the world, you can enjoy it even if you're not a role player, because it's stupid, silly bullshit about the world, not necessarily about, someone else's characters that, the layman might not know about. But hell, today and the last article were both fuck Kotaku, and we used a sun cat named Kotaku as a stand-in for them.
It's pretty well written, pretty funny as well. You can check this out. They were really well done. So with that being said, as the person here who doesn't, I guess in a sense doesn't RP, I mean, majority of my friends, the people I talk to on a daily basis, guess what? They all RP. They're all on RP servers. They have turned my thought process around, and I started saying, you know what? Like when there was a content lull between 4.0 and 4.1, I was always telling them like, you all have content because you're creating your own content. So much so that Saferot went to Twitter and said, Flat has changed my thought process on roleplay. I used to think it was something that I should be ashamed of, and I realized that I'm the one that constantly has content in this game. And that that made me feel good. It made me feel like, all right, then my thought process has changed to the point where he now is changing. Like I want what if you can if you all of you, the people in that server, all of you, the group can put onto me the positivity that's coming out of RP, regardless of if there is our ERP involved or what, like regardless of, like any of that, like the light side and like the fun you're having, and you can change my thought, like the community, anybody can be changed. And like I'm a, the lack of a better word, I could be an asshole. I mean, I can be like, and I'm not saying I'm not. Like I've always been approachable in this community. I try to be a nice person. I try to listen to everybody's side. But you know what? The one side that and I said I was ashamed to say it. I sucked, but it was like I was the same person that said RP, like fucking Balmung. But that was before I knew. That's before I knew. Now I know. And if you're out there and you listen to this and you're like, fucking RP again, like, no, you don't understand. You just don't understand it. And it's nothing bad. It's like, that's how they enjoy the game. Like they just create characters to get attached to them. They write backstory and they create stories. If it's like you min-maxing and rating, right? If I have to sit down and do math so that I can beat a boss on the first week without getting some sort of gear boost, like later down the line, and that's your jam, that is your jam. This is theirs, but you shouldn't they're not judging you for sitting there and like min-maxing your character to like bleeding edge. But that, props to you if you can beat Unending Coil. Like good, that's cool, that's awesome. I'm glad that you can do that. That's your jam. This is theirs. But don't not see it from their perspective if you don't want them to not see it from yours, because they still raid, they still do all the other stuff in game. They just have this whole other aspect of it. So when you're done with content, they're still playing the game. They're still keeping the subs alive. They're still keeping the servers up. And you're not, because you'll play something else, or you'll cancel your sub until the next patch comes out, or whatever have you. So
yeah, when you beat Unending Coil, I still have a reason to log in.
Yeah, and they can develop a whole storyline, what happened after Unending Coil, or like why it happened, and just all that stuff. So I want to thank Sabaku for writing that lovely letter, and if you've never seen A Stage Reborn, go support them. Go show them love. Go see what they do. It's on YouTube. It's go follow them on Twitter. I'm sure they have Facebook as well. Look up A Stage Reborn, see what they're about. And you know what? Give roleplay a try. Start a small roleplay. Go find a roleplay group on your server. I know a great podcast that you can listen to called Musecast XIV that is the only Final Fantasy XIV podcast about roleplay, and they do have a set of series about small roleplay groups on servers. So look for the episode with your server, and if you don't seem to find one, ask on the forums, ask on Reddit, ask a friend. See who's role-playing in your area. And if you can't find anybody in the general vicinity, start your own FC. Lunavox from Phoenix Town Radio started a roleplay community on their server. It's entirely possible. So I want to thank The Crucible. I want to thank Sabaku. I want to thank Musecast. I want to thank everybody on the Crucible server who's changed my mind. Let's see. Real quick, Sabaku in chat. Fun fact: you can get in any episode of Midnight Diner Shirogane Stories without RPing. And there you go. See, like you can just get in there. I want to thank you all, Kontos, everybody, Sasha. I knew who wanted to come on, and I apologize. We will have you on at a later date. I would like to tell that story. I just don't know where I'll fit that story in, but we'll fit that story in. I want to thank you all because. As a person who just solely PvEs and doesn't do the RP stuff, I've made an RP character. I want to get on Gilgamesh for Balmung and see what the fuck's going down. And I may be a noob at it and I may be terrible at it, but I at least want to know. And that's one thing I take away from MMOs. I will now going in. The older I get with MMOs is not about always raiding. It's about let me experience the content that I may not be experiencing and figuring out what this is about. And I implore all our listeners out there and the people watching on YouTube and wherever have you, if you're getting this from our website, go out there and RP, figure it out. It can be something as simple as creating a quest with your FC, or find the FC leader, do something crazy, do something that's out of the norm, dig into your characters, write a backstory. It's not as simple as, yeah, there's sex going on in video games. Guess what? Sex goes on, just not in video games. Fuck, I'm pretty sure there's a Destiny Child's chat room somewhere where people are getting down right now. So let's rethink things. Kotaku, God, you fucking suck. Go read The Crucible instead. Better chat. And if you want legitimate news, not saying that The Crucible is not a legitimate news source, but if you want like IRL Final Fantasy XIV news, go check out Chili's PlayStation Universe, and he likes to cover Final Fantasy XIV, and I would suggest there, or Gamerscape for your Final Fantasy XIV news. Don't go to Kotaku. They don't deserve your clicks. Gamerscape deserves your clicks. Chili deserves your clicks, but not Kotaku. That being said, people about deserving your clicks, I'm going to talk about us for a while. I know that's I'm pandering on my own show for us, but that's fine. So we want you to share us, and not just the Twitch show. But we want you to share the podcast. And if you're a listener to the podcast and you love what we do, share it. If you find an episode that's really funny and you said, hey, these guys are comedy Final Fantasy XIV. Like, we took a big leap when we switched from just being news and theory crafting, because we knew that's all everybody else was doing. And that's not a bad thing. We didn't want to be like everybody else. And we knew that we were more comedy than news, and that's what we want to deliver. We try to make this a lighthearted show. Sometimes we do take things a little seriously, and we may not have had enough laughs tonight. And I would have loved to have more laughs tonight. But to me, maybe we did need to take a little bit of a serious step this side, and that's fine. But if you do listen to us, share our show. If you listen on iTunes, do me a favor. Leave us a rating. 1 through 5 star. Leave us just like tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Tell us that you want us to go take comedy lessons. If you're like, you fucking guys are not funny, just let us know what we're let us know what we're doing right and wrong. And we want to grow and push this forward and do more that Musecast has gotten in chat. Hi, I talked you up so much. Just so you know, I talked you up so much. So, and if you're on Google Play and you are giving us like, we want to know. So, also, I know we have the you want to be a rock star contest. We're gonna look to see if we have any entries. If we don't, well, what the problem was is that Extra Life kind of fell in the middle of the contest. So if we don't have any entries, we're gonna extend it, and we'll talk to the person supplying the prizes and everything, and we'll extend that out. So, so far, go promote us, go share us, help, find an episode that you think is hilarious, find an episode that you think people should listen to, and go share it out. I would suggest the Halloween episode if you've not listened to that one yet. I thought that was hilarious. I think anything with, a whole snake is a pretty good. Our last episode is also pretty funny. So, Fusecast, Maelstrom Radio, you should take comedy lessons, maybe public speaking, and public, really? Damn.
Wow, judging from those burns, it's probably Emmy.
my soul. Pig like bear. I don't know anymore. So our show's normally on Mondays at 8 p.m, but not so much anymore. I think we are officially moving to Fridays at 9 p.m. Shin being on the West Coast and me being on the East Coast, Mondays at 8 is just not going to work out. So thank you for joining us on Fridays now, because that's going to be our new time slot. Hi. That's going to be better for both of us. And once Shin gets his computer, hopefully next week we'll Black Friday. Oh, you know what next week is? Oh, we have something special for you next week. Thanks Shiving. What a perfect time to talk about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's next week. And from the minds of the Crucible, Contos, and Maelstrom Radio comes a whole day about dressing up your turkey. And when I mean dressing it up, grab your twine, grab your bird. It's going to get a little tight. Next Friday is Thanksgiving. That means we were going to be doing I don't know what the hell this holiday is, but it's Thanksgiving. So that day, I'll figure it out. Shin and I will probably record during Thanksgiving. And since Shin's here, we need to break into Shin's house in with booze.
Well,
I
thought we were going to have our demonstration. Properly ship a turkey.
Oh, I gotta buy listen, I may not have the money for a turkey. Anyway.
Well, then just, ship a chicken.
Ship a chicken? Alright, ship a chicken. Anyway, look for next week. I'm inviting all my friends, anybody that's out there. If you want to come play Quiplash, Cards Against Humanity, party games with us, we'll stream, we'll do some bullshit. We're not doing that. Kane, that is not a holiday. We don't celebrate that. We don't witness that as a holiday. Merry Vormus is not happening. I had to say it because I was thinking like if I didn't say it, then people are gonna be like, "What fucking holiday is he talking?" So no, Merry Vormus is not a thing.
That's the holiday when Krampus eats the naughty children.
It's true. I like Krampus though. Krampus. Why do we have a Krampus in game? Starlight Krampus. That's what I want. Anyway.
Thank you for
Thank
you for the idea.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'll throw it in the pitching room. So you can find us here Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure Shin will probably tell me different, but 9 p.m. Eastern is going to be the time, 6 Pacific. That's also going to give West Coast folks more time to come watch us and a bunch of other things. You can find us at maelstromradio.com. That's where you want to go listen to us. It's, the comedy podcast that's not funny, apparently. You can email the show at show@maelstromradio.com. You can find our Discord on our Twitter page, which is twitter.com/@maelstrom_radio or just @maelstrom_radio. You can find us on facebook.com/maelstromradio. And then you can find us here on twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio. I want to thank, everybody, my phone just keeps popping off. Chili, I want to thank Chili, of course, everything. Chili stood up and it's like 2 a.m. GMT. Thank you, Chili. I want to thank Brahamit for stepping in. Thanks Safe, even though he's not here. I want to thank Musecast, and Contos, like I said earlier, anybody, Sabaku, Stage Reborn, anybody that does RP acts, and just, you're all amazing, and nobody should take what you do for granted, and nobody should be pointing at you and saying you're raunchy or you're just all sex crazed and your servers are terrible. I'll say it again, just if you've never roleplayed before, find a roleplay group, try it out. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't read a Kotaku article to get your information either. So that's the only information I can give you. So
are you just not gonna let me do any plugs?
I mean, sure. Yeah, of course.
So you can find the Crucible mainly based out of Tumblr, the Crucible ffxiv.tumblr.com. We're also on Facebook, the Crucible ffxiv on Facebook. Twitter is at Crucible ffxiv because the Crucible is too long. We also have a Patreon where you can help us cover the costs of running the Crucible month to month. We actually had to temporarily discontinue our monthly comic series because of my unemployment and the fact that our Patreon donations were a little too low. But we will always be doing the Crucible no matter what we bring in. Finally, we're also on Twitch, the Crucible FFXIV on Twitch. Go ahead and give us a follow. And I just want to let you guys know that this magical Discord server that Gladys keeps talking about, it is magical. And if you want to get in on it, all you have to do is give us a donation on Patreon or become a Twitch sub. It's an exclusive club for the cool kids. Do you want to be a cool kid?
Everybody wants to be a cool kid. I got in there because, I'm a collaborator, so I'm special.
That too.
Yeah. Real quick though, Musecast, I'm not sure who from Musecast. Musecast said, do you want me to come there and crash? Yeah, no, you're welcome. I'm sure you read the Kotaku article. I'm sure you have something to say. Hey. Out of nowhere, I look over and Remix, please. I know that you have strong sentiment about the RP community and how it's represented. So please, go ahead. Or not.
Air is dead is safe.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Safe? No. Let's hope not.
Yeah, let's hope not.
His poor lungs. Remix?
Hello.
I know Remix has guest hosts.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I reactivated push to talk. Whoops.
Hey, it's fine.
I thought you were just taking the piss out of me.
No. I was hoping you'd show up because I did want you. Because we were doing call-ins, but nobody called in, so I was kind of hoping you would show up.
Oh. Why not? You can always call on me. I have the worst time management ever, and unless if you need me to show up, what you need to do is just, hey Remix, get on now, right now, yeah.
We wanted people to come on and share their best ER.
Oh God.
I actually don't have any of those because every time I almost get my Catboy laid, there's a problem. Like the person on the other end asks me out of character, I have to know, in real life, are you male or female? And I'm like, well, in real life, I'm female. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just uncomfortable with that. I'd rather, ERP with an actual gay male. And I'm like, all right, 100% fine. I had a lot of fun tonight. Best of luck. I'll see you around. And, and then I'm like, damn it. I gotta be the fucking Fujoshi trash, don't I? Just the life of a Fujoshi is hard, okay? That is all the ERP stories I have.
Can we get that on a shirt?
Being a Fujoshi ain't easy.
Yeah, being a Fujoshi ain't easy.
Yaoi ain't easy. Yaoi is hard.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very
hard. So yeah, Remix, I know you have strong sentiment about the RP community and how it's viewed.
So what I was going to say is that you're saying things I totally feel in my heart, and thank you for saying them. It's better if multiple people are saying them, not just stuff. You have to understand that the things that you're saying now are things that Emmy and I have been saying for years. and that I'm sure that Bromvid and Safe have been saying for years, that things that half of the Balmung server has been saying for years. We've already lived with this for so long, being in video game RP. That's just a fact of life, and I'm glad you're saying it now. It was just like, it's one of those things that I feel like, yeah, duh. Like, it's been like that way since the beginning. When we founded Musecast, we had to do all these things. Like, we had to be extra careful that there was no possible way we could be construed as ERP. We had to be more careful than other people because we're fighting against a stereotype, you know? Like, that's the reason why our Discord doesn't have a not safe for work channel. Because I'm like, so part of me is like, people should have a place to put their porn and have fun. But the second somebody joins our Discord server who doesn't know us and sees that we have a not safe for work channel, they're going to be like, oh, I knew it. You actually are all about sex. Like, we have to be defensive because of that stereotype.
I just want to
We have to
chime
be
in.
extra innocent.
I want to
I'm
chime
worried.
in.
I'm worried.
I want to chime in that on the Crucible Discord server, our Not Safe for Work channel is literally titled NSFW, no vor or guro this time.
This time. This note.
Yeah.
This time.
because we have a bot that can automatically look up porn, and I got the channel deleted with guro.
If that doesn't incentivize, you to give them money to get on that server.
Well, so that is the Crucible brand, and you own it 100%. But because we came at it from the beginning as we're going to be the serious and professional RP representative of the community, we have to be squeaky clean basically all the time, or else the Kotakus of the world will jump on us. The elitists of the world will jump down our throats, and that's really sad.
You're definitely walking the harder path.
Yeah, because we're like, want to be that serious entity. Not that like all the humor is not appreciated, but that's something that we live with individually. It's to the point where like I almost never mention, like, to be honest, I don't have any saucy ERP stories, but even if I did, I feel like I would not be able to tell them because that's the bullshit that people like Kotaku would fucking latch onto. That's the thing. It's like they're all going for the saucy, sexy bullshit because that's what get interest and that's what get clicks. It's not representative, but it gets fucking clicks. And the whole, like, that's why the Balmung ERP stereotype exists, because people that have never been on Balmung, they latch on to the, like, Balmung ERP is a meme. That's all it is. It's not a truth. It's not a reality. It's a meme that other people, like my home server from Gilgamesh, which I am fine with criticizing, that's what they latch into because it's sexy, it's sensationalist, and it's easy to understand. And maybe that's just human nature. We love memes. We love easy stereotypes. We do. But when you're on that other side and you get given flack, like I've been in an FC on Gilgamesh that I've been, for years, that I like it because, I love the people there. It's not RP focused at all. It's just not. I actually didn't RP when I started the game, but like most of the people are nice. But once in a while, somebody will be like, "Ew, you RP? Like, what's wrong with you?" Like, and people have said the dumbest bullshit in the world, like on Facebook and places that are even more ignorant. They've said things like RFP is for losers, like who don't have any success, who don't have any meaning in real life. And I was like, bitch, do you know the meaning of video games? Do you know what video games are? Video games are 100% about living in a fictional world. Books are about living in a fictional world. You play video games. You are no better than me. You think you're better than me? What the fuck, man? Like, do you not even understand the meaning of video games? The meaning of video games is to play pretend for a little while. The meaning of RP is to play pretend for a little while. If you play video games, you don't have the right to say that I am a loser and I'm doing this because I'm insecure and I don't have a real life. Oh yeah, I'm bringing the salt.
No.
Someone had to would save us.
Yeah, no. I mean, Safe's gonna. I'm telling you, Safe's gonna wake up and be
Just
pissed that he missed it.
Fucking hypocrisy is appalling. It really is.
I agree.
Like, who gives a fuck? Also, who gives a fuck what I'm doing? Either in private or with people that are understanding and informed, and like, I'm not even just ERP. Like, RP takes place in spaces that do not disturb anybody else. there are a few assholes that do bullshit in shout chat. They are the exceptions. Nobody likes them, not even us. But like, who gives a fuck how I play my game? Why do you give a fuck how I play my game? Seriously, like, even other people that RP, like that's why I always say I don't give a fuck if your character's Mary Stu, Gary Stu. I don't give a fuck what stereotypes you adhere to. Maybe I'll help you like be a little more creative with your writing, but as long as you're having fun and like everybody else around you is having fun, who gives a fuck what you're doing? I don't care that you're an emo Dark Knight with stupid meme macros. If that's what you like, I mean, I'll roll my eyes at you and then like I'll be done with it because I'm not so fucking insecure that I have to bash other people's fun times. I'm not the fucking fun police.
I mean, I completely, like I said, I completely agree. I think the Kotaku article was written out of context. I think that, and it's not even the player that they interviewed. I think that if I had Kotaku come up to me and ask me, hey, I heard you do this thing and I'm from Kotaku, would you like to do an article? Of course you're going to say yes, but you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, I'm going to get, you know, like you don't think about like maybe like the repercussion. Like, it's not the person's fault. I put all the how the article was written on Kotaku because how that information was delivered probably was a lot different than how it was written and presented. So,
yeah. I mean, I hate to put personal responsibility on one author because I mean that's just their culture. You know, it's maybe Kotaku's culture, that whole family of publications. Something about that environment says that authors need to write sensationalist, sexy bullshit to keep their jobs, to get approval, to, you know, to make revenue. You know, I'm at the end of the day, I can't really take it personally against any one person to say that they're a bad person because they wrote this. Maybe they're all having a really good laugh at our expense over there. Maybe,
well, we're having a good laugh at theirs.
You know, but it's all I care about is the damage that's doing to the player base. And when I say damage, I mean bullying of role players, rejection of role players. The fact that when Crossroad Party Finder launched, people on Gilgamesh were kicking people from Balmung out of their parties because they were from Balmung. That's bullying. Straight up.
Real quick, I just want to read some headlines, just like the title of articles from Kotaku, real quick. I love this unrealistic Assassin's Creed Origins boat. Skyrim VR actually made me throw up, yet I want to play more. Let's see. Is this Transformers toy a Trump supporter? Update.
Whoa.
Update.
That is the most clickbaity thing I have heard.
God. Wait a minute. Don't pre-order video games unless you're an alternate dimension pony person. Get the fuck out. Esports is a mansion of butts, according to this bizarre ad. I just want to point out these are Kotaku articles.
They are really the real life Crucible.
They are. You know what makes me sad is that they make more money than you guys. That's what makes me sad.
Well, life imitates art.
I mean, legitimately, this is probably the only. Our players are creating amazing avatars for Final Fantasy 15's multiplayer. That's probably a legitimate article. That's probably the only thing that's
try that.
Is Kotaku still owned by Gawker Media?
Probably.
I mean, because Gawker Media is kind of an enormous joke.
Gizmodo Media Group, which I think is
Didn't they go bankrupt?
Yes, but no, I guess not. I guess Gizmodo is their own thing. I guess they were bought out. It's a shit pile of a.
Well,
place.
I mean, if your company is called Gawker Media, gawkers are your target market.
Yeah. Well, it's
You write
Gizmodo
things
Media,
that make people gawk.
which I honestly, at the end of the day, I mean,
There has never been any better argument for a non-advertising revenue-based business model for journalism. There really hasn't. This is the bullshit you get when you get ad-supported journalism.
Crucible, let me know if you need articles written by Dr. Love, because apparently that's on TikTok. Dr. Nerd Love.
Oh. Well,
All right,
okay then.
I'll just give bad dating advice. Oh my god, can I do that? Can I just write in bad dating ERP advice on the Crucible love column?
Pro pickup lines. Walk up to a girl and ask, "Hey, how hung are you?"
I tried starting that. Like, listen, I tried starting that on my Twitter account. Was like, hey, I need your best FanFest pickup lines. Did not go well. That worked for fucking with BlizzCon. I was like, I need the best BlizzCon pickup lines. That worked really well. FanFest did not work. That did not take off. That did not take off well. It worked well when Sony Online had their thing in Vegas. That worked really well. But come on, FanFest 2018. Let's make that happen. Let's hashtag best pickup.
Well, we hadn't met at the time of FanFest, so it would have been a little awkward to have like you used a pickup line on me, and then we met later, and I'm like, "Hey, you're that douche from FanFest."
I mean, technically, I'm still that douche from FanFest, but all right, I think we've got the message across. Remix, thank you for hopping in.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's much more I can say, but my biggest thought is like, you've said everything that needs to be said. But I would add that this is nothing new to the RP community at all. Like this has gone on for years, and it's not just about me being salty and being annoyed. It's about people actually getting bullied for this stupid fucking meme stereotype. People getting kicked out of parties, being harassed by their FC members, or being people harassed, like having their RP events in public crashed by trolls. And that hurts everybody's gameplay experience when all they're doing is just having a different way to have fun. And I really find it sad that geeks are bullying other geeks for their geekiness. Like, come on, this is fucking high school again. Like, and the RP kids are the new losers, and all you raiders are the cool kids. Like, what is it about human nature that makes us need to bully people that are different? Bully people that are perceived as weak and easy to pick on.
To quote Scrubs, people are bastard-coated bastards with bastard filling.
Yeah,
it's true.
If you are one of those people, just take a moment to look inside yourself and think about what horrible inner insecurities make you bully your fellow geeks. What has turned you into the bully that used to bully you? And look inside yourself, because that's the only thing I can say. I can't convince you with all of the salt in the world. Just look inside yourself and find your shame, please, and be ashamed of yourself.
Yep. Chris Metzen had a great speech. Some people make fun of it, but if you actually listen to the speech, he did it at BlizzCon one year. It was talking about being a nerd, being a geek, and it was to a crowd of nerds saying we're all the same. There's nothing different between any of us, regardless if you play World of Warcraft. Like, and he said it in a very general way where you could take a lot from it being any MMO player, any video game player, is that being a geek is like you should be proud of being a geek. It doesn't matter what type if you RP, if you raid, all you do is dungeons, and all of you do is log in and you do PvP. Be proud of being a geek, because guess what? We all play this game together. We're all this one community, regardless of what we do. Don't pick on anybody because we all pay the sub. We all keep this game afloat. Like,
you pay my sub, so stop telling me not to RP.
Yeah. Anyway, at the end of the day, Remixed. I mean, I've told people to go listen to your show, but tell them where they can find you and what you do.
Thank you so much. So, Musecast 14 is the only Final Fantasy 14 podcast focused exclusively on roleplay. You can find all of our info at musecastxiv.com, including our Twitter, social media, Facebook, and Discord, where you can come chat with us, not only have fun and chat with the community, but get any help. We're all about being welcoming and answering any dumb, explain it like I'm 5 questions. Our first episode is also a great intro to RP, like the very, very basics, and why we think that anybody can get into RP, because guess what? The RP in MMORPG stands for roleplay. So we're all role players on some level. And if you want to take it to another level, if that would enhance your gaming experience, enhance your creativity, don't be afraid to do it, no matter what server you're on. Any server.
Yep. And I remember you have episodes dedicated to smaller roleplay groups on smaller servers, correct?
Oh, yeah. And, in addition to that intro episode, we wanted to highlight some of the small server role players. That was after we had the Crucible on to spend 2 episodes talking about Balmung. because it is worth talking about and discussing. We also have
So-
a Twitch channel, Newscast XIV, which is growing slowly, where we do more of the fun, casual stuff. Our podcast is always going to be our main product, and we really strive for high quality objectivity and being really informative. But if you want to see us like on our fun sides, our salty sides, our fangirly sides, having fun sometimes, you can get to know us better on Twitch. Twitch is where we let ourselves be unprofessional.
I don't know. I guess there's professionalism in comedy. Maybe, I don't know. We're halfway between comedians and guy. Like, I mean, I don't know. I can't sell us because it's weird, because Shin and I are we played a lot of MMOs. Shin and I have both come from a background of deep gaming and MMOs, so like we just know the genre pretty well. So, and we're, you know, to quote The Crucible, you're the best shit talkers that we've ever met. So
Meanwhile, we're here actively trying to be heels.
I mean, same thing. We're like, we know, like Shin have gone on record tons of times, like we love this community. We love it. And we're thankful for meeting all of you. I mean, and I want to thank one more time, and I think we're going to do something this weekend, I think tomorrow, but it looks like one more time. I want to thank, of course, The Crucible, Musecast, Denmo, Phoenix Down Radio, She Heals I Tank, Krev, see if I'm missing anybody, us. I think that's it. Really? I think that's it. Did I miss anybody?
Yes. So anybody that looks inside themselves and finds that they have bullied role players and they're ashamed and they want to do something to make up for it, donate to our Extra Life page.
Yeah, you've seen it go through, I'm pretty sure, a couple times, the link. We are $96 away from $5,000. So we've busted our and I have to say, everyone's busted their asses. Like I've tried to show up to as many streams as I could. That like I was there, I think, almost for the whole 12 hours for your stream to support and hang out, and and you know, Shin and I are the world tag team champions over at the Crucible stream, which was a fantastic match. I watched Shin put it in I believe was it Safe's mouth?
No,
it was your mouth.
And that's what won the match.
Yeah, there you go. So if you don't know what we're talking about, go check out those streams and find that stuff. And I'm telling you, it's worth it. Like everything we did, it was a lot of fun. And we did a lot of good for the Children's Miracle Network. Thank you all for listening to this episode of Maelstrom Radio. I'm going to go ahead and mute our chat room so I can go ahead and say our goodbyes and get out of here.
Bye.
I'm muting Discord on that side. They can't hear you. I'm muting. They could probably hear. Well, they used to hear you. Now they don't hear you anymore. That's fine though, because I'm going to click this button and play this song. So, thank you all for joining us for the 60th episode of Maelstrom Radio. I'm still shocked that we're at 60 episodes. It's been such a weird journey getting to this point. And I want to thank you all. Like I said before, I want to thank the RP community for doing what they do and keeping the game alive, because without you, you know, you pay for most of the people when they quit, when there's off season. So, thank you to all of the content creators to help support us and the Extra Life event, and get out there and RP sometime and go listen to Musecast if you don't know how to get into it. So until Sea Swallows all, keep listening.
Maelstrom Radio is a production of MaelstromRadio.com, Blackfire Media Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Opening theme provided by Benjamin Anthony James. You can find more of their music over at SoundCloud.com/Ben773. Our outro is provided by Sodo. You can find more of their music over at SoundCloud.com/Sodo. Views and opinions expressed on this episode are those of Maelstrom Radio and their host, and do not reflect the views and opinions of Square Enix. And until sea swallows all, keep listening.